Most commercial leases throw around the term operating expenses, like everyone already knows what that means. But not everything the landlord spends money on is supposed to be included in your pass-throughs. In this video, we're going to break down what really counts as an operating expense and what doesn't, so you can read your lease and your reconciliations with confidence. But before we dive in, tell me in the comments, have you ever seen a charge on your statement and thought, wait, is that even allowed? When we talk about operating expenses, we're talking about the day-to-day cost of running and maintaining the building. Things needed to keep the doors open, the lights on, the air conditioning working, and the property clean and safe for tenants and their customers. Think of it as, what does the owner have to spend this year so the building can function normally this year? That's the heart of operating expenses. Most operating expense statements fall into a few big buckets. Utilities, which is power, water, gas, sometimes trash. Repairs and maintenance, keeping roofs, HVAC, parking lots, and common areas in working condition. Cleaning and janitorial, interior common areas, lobbies, restrooms, and sometimes exterior cleaning. Security and life safety, guards, access systems, and fire alarm monitoring. Management and administrative, fees for professional management plus certain admin costs. And in many cases, property taxes and insurance are included in what you pay as a pass-through. Even if they're listed separately from CAM, in your lease, these might be defined in a paragraph or two, or several pages. Utilities for the common areas and base building systems are classic operating expenses. Electricity to run common lights and HVAC, water and sewer, trash, and so on. On the maintenance side, this is where we see service contracts like HVAC maintenance contracts and repair work that keeps existing systems functioning, patching the roof, repairing potholes, fixing interior plumbing and electrical issues. The key idea, these are current period costs to keep existing systems working, not major upgrades or complete replacements. We'll talk about what doesn't belong here in a minute. Another big bucket, cleaning and security. Operating expenses typically include janitorial services for the building's shared spaces, lobbies, hallways, restrooms, and things like window washing for the building exterior and common areas. On the security and life safety side, that can include guards or patrols, access control systems, cameras, fire alarm monitoring, and required inspections. Again, the theme, these are recurring costs needed to safely and properly operate the building for everyone who occupies it. Most leases also treat property management fees as an operating expense, along with certain administrative costs directly related to running that particular property. Think accounting for CAM reconciliations, bid work, oversight for vendors. Then you've got property taxes and insurance. In many commercial leases, those are recoverable from tenants, either as part of operating expenses or called out in their own sections. What matters is how your lease defines them, not just the label on the landlord spreadsheet. If you ever see a large jump in these categories, that's your cue to ask for backup and understand exactly what changed. Just as important as what does count is what usually does not belong in operating expenses. Typically excluded, tenant improvements, the cost to build out or remodel a tenant space, leasing commissions, except in very short-term situations in some markets. These are usually not operating expenses. Major capital projects like full roof replacements or big system upgrades, unless your lease specifically allows certain capital items to be passed through and amortized. Marketing and leasing campaigns, advertising, promotions, and similar costs. And anything that benefits one tenant only should not be dumped into the common operating pool. If you'd like a full video just on what should be excluded from operating expenses, tell me in the comments below and type exclusions. To recap, operating expenses are meant to capture the day-to-day recurring costs to operate and maintain the property. Utilities, cleaning, security, repairs, management, taxes, and insurance where your lease allows it. Your job as a tenant or advisor is to read the definition of operating expenses in the lease. Compare that to your actual annual reconciliations. Watch for items that look more like capital projects, leasing costs, or marketing than true operating costs. If you'd like help reviewing your operating expenses or prior reconciliation, visit therealestateconnection.co and reach out. I can help you break it down line by line. And before you go, like this video, subscribe, and drop a comment like operating expense line item you'd like to understand better.